Hey guys, Mosa here, and today I'm bringing you my Sunday Night Football predictions between the Minnesota Vikings and the Atlanta Falcons. Now, without a further ado, let's get started. Now, kicking it off with the Vikings injury report, we got cornerback Jeff Okudah with a concussion, linebacker Andrew Van Ginkel with a concussion as well, and Christian Darrisaw with a knee injury, all out for this game. Then moving on to Harrison Smith with an illness, and Austin Keys, linebacker, with a groin injury, both questionable for this game. Then moving on to center Ryan Kelly with a toe injury, tight end Josh Oliver with an ankle injury, wide receiver Miles Price and Jalen Naylor with a knee and hand injury, respectively, running back Xavier Scott with an ankle injury, defensive tackle Elijah Williams with a hamstring injury, and cornerback Isaiah Rodgers with an elbow injury. In my opinion, this is going to be what's going to happen. The Vikings defense is going to be heavily, kind of heavily, especially without Van Ginkel. And if Harrison Smith goes too, that's going to be a heavy toll on the Vikings defense. Now, Christian Darrisaw being out, that's another big question mark on the offensive line. Can J.J. McCarthy be protected with Justin Skoll on the field? I don't know. But the point is, honestly, it's going to harm the defense more than the offense when it comes to the injuries. Obviously, like I said, Van Ginkel and Jeff Okudah are out, and then you got Smith, who could be out. That's going to be three big players out for the Vikings if Harrison Smith is also out. But for right now, I'm thinking that maybe they can do something to fix that defense just in case Harrison doesn't play and possibly take down the Atlanta Falcons. Depends on really the health issues of Harrison Smith, and obviously we all know what's going to happen with Van Ginkel and Okudah, who are not going to play. Now, moving on to the offense of the Minnesota Vikings, we got quarterback J.J. McCarthy, running back Aaron Jones Sr., fullback C.J. Ham, wide receivers Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. And is Addison going to play? I'm not certain about that. I'm going to have to double check. It'll be up on the screen if he does play, but he might still be suspended, or is it someone else? I don't remember. But TJ Hawkinson will be the tight end. Left tackle, Justin Skoll coming in for Christian Darrisaw. Left guard, Donovan Jackson. Center, Ryan Kelly. Will Fries as the right guard. And Brian O'Neill as the right tackle. Now, this offensive line is going to have some trouble with Justin Skoll as the new offensive lineman on that offensive line, replacing Christian Darrisaw. Now, that doesn't mean Skoll isn't going to do his best. He will. And he might even excel at the left tackle position. But that's the blind side of J.J. McCarthy. So that's going to be the crucial part of the offensive line to protect. And let's say for all Vikings fans, they hope that he can protect J.J. McCarthy's blind side. But regardless of that, J.J. McCarthy did pretty decently, not good, but decently in last week's game against the Bears. This week, he's going up against the Falcons, and maybe we'll be seeing a few big plays from J.J. McCarthy, or maybe some handoffs to Aaron Jones. If Addison's playing, well, we'll see. And Justin Jefferson is one of his key targets in this game, along with T.J. Hawkinson. So those are the two big plays to see, T.J. Hawkinson and Justin Jefferson, while maybe if Addison is playing, maybe a few plays to him. And the offensive line is a question mark, but it's a question mark that I believe is honestly 50-50 on whether or not they will succeed without Darrisaw or they will fail without Darrisaw. Now, moving on to the Minnesota Vikings defense, we got edge rushers Jonathan Greenard and Dallas Turner. Turner coming in for the injured Andrew Van Ginkel. Defensive linemen, we got Jonathan Allen, Jalen Redmond, and Javon Hargrave. Linebackers, Blake Cashman and Ivan Pace. Byron Murphy Jr. at corner, and Isaiah Rodgers will be there with him, replacing the injured Jeff Okudah. Free safety is Harrison Smith, but if he cannot go, Theo Jackson will take over, and Josh Metellus at strong safety. Now, when it comes to this defense, obviously, losing two guys on that defense potentially. Harrison Smith, potentially out, and Dallas Turner replacing an injured Van Ginkel. That is going to be interesting. I think Dallas can do it. I think he can really put pressure on the Falcons quarterback, Michael Penix Jr., but I don't think he's going to have the same pressure as Andrew Van Ginkel. I think he's going to lay it off a little bit, but I think he's going to do his job pretty good. But losing Harrison Smith in that backfield in the secondary, that's going to be a heavy toll on the Vikings because yes, they didn't have him last week, but that was against the Bears. So there's that. But they're going up against the Falcons team, which is not that bad, but honestly, it could be 50-50. It's 50-50 with their defense because it's the Falcons. But regardless of that, I think that this is going to be a very interesting game to watch when it comes to the Vikings defense because if the Vikings defense is successful, then you'll be seeing a few TDs from JJ McCarthy because I believe that if you give JJ McCarthy the ball a few times in this game, he'll get you on the board maybe 1, 3, 4 times in this game, either handing it off to Aaron Jones or getting a touchdown pass or even rushing himself for a touchdown. But regardless of that, I think JJ McCarthy and the offense will be doing pretty good. The defense, on the other hand, they're, like I said, 50-50, but they might actually have a slight advantage over the Falcons, but that advantage is very slim. Now, moving to the injury report of the Atlanta Falcons, starting out with safeties Jamal Agnew and Jordan Fuller, both out for this game with a groin and knee injury, respectively, along with offensive lineman Jack Nelson with a calf injury and wide receiver Casey Washington with a concussion. Then moving on to safety DeMarco Helmas with a hamstring injury, edge rusher James Pierce Jr. with a groin injury, defensive back Billy Bowman Jr. with a shoulder injury, all questionable for this game. Then we get wide receivers Darnell Mooney and Drake London, both with shoulder injuries. Now, when it comes down to it, obviously, most of these guys aren't really starters. But you get down to these two, Mooney and London, both who are going to play, by the way. But honestly, it's going to be a tough time for these two because shoulder injuries are pretty bad. Like, obviously, I think they can get through it, but what if they re-injure themselves during this game? That is going to be real crucial for the offense of the Falcons. Because other than that, you got Ray McLeod. Who else do you have? Kyle Pitts. Yeah, sure. But then after that, who else? Like Bijan, good on the run, maybe in the pass, but you're going to use him on the run most of the time. The offensive line is pretty good, so maybe they got it. But for me, I think that this is going to really hinder the offense, even though most of the offensive players that are on this list are actually none of them are starters. So, or at least almost none of them are starters. So, in the end, I think that's going to hinder the offense of the Falcons more than the defense. But it could, because obviously less depth in the defense is going to cause them to have defensive problems as well. Now, moving on to the offense of the Atlanta Falcons, we got quarterback Michael Penix Jr., running back Bijan Robinson, wide receivers Drake London, Darnell Mooney, and Ray McLeod. Then we get tight end Kyle Pitts, left tackle Jake Matthews, left guard Matthew Bergergun. I don't know if that's how you say it, but okay. Then we get Ryan Newzil at center, Chris Lindstrom at right guard, and right tackle Elijah Wilkinson. Now, when it comes down to this offense, Penix is going to have a decent game and having to hand off the ball to Robinson, getting Lake and Mooney open, and honestly, maybe even finding a few plays for Kyle Pitts in this game deep downfield or in the red zone. But is it going to be a good game? Because if Mooney and London re-injure themselves, that's going to knock out two of his top receivers, and it's nearly game over. And that's going to actually give the Vikings defense a little bit of weight off their shoulder because of their injuries. But in my opinion, I think that we're going to be seeing a pretty decent game for the Falcons, and we're probably going to be seeing a few touchdowns from both Penix and McCarthy. But who's going to come out on top? The battle of this quarterback duo who faced off in the national championship 2 years ago. Now we're going to be seeing who is the better quarterback in the NFL. And I think that's going to be a storyline to watch, especially looking at this offense if London and Mooney stay healthy. Now, moving on to the defense of the Atlanta Falcons, we got edge rushers Leonard Floyd and Arnold Ibikite. Defensive tackles are David Onyemata and Brandon Durlus. Linebackers Caden Ellis and Divine Diablo. With cornerbacks AJ Terrell and Mike Hughes. And Billy Bowman, who is questionable for this game. And if he cannot go, Natrone Brooks will take over. Free safety Jesse Bates. And strong safety Xavier Watts. Now, when it comes down to this defense, honestly, I'm not seeing much of an issue. You got some good edge rushers in Arnold and Leonard. Defensive tackles, pretty decent. Linebacker core, also pretty decent. Pretty okay secondary, especially with Jesse Bates back there. That's going to be a big help in the secondary. But still, they got some issues. And they're facing up against a very good Minnesota Vikings offense led by J.J. McCarthy. That's going to be an issue. But is it going to be big enough to hinder the Atlanta Falcons? I think maybe. It really all depends on how good J.J. McCarthy plays alongside his team for week 2. Is it going to be more of the same like in Chicago? Is he going to outright fail? Is he going to outright just destroy the Falcons defense? That is up for determination, but I think it's really 50-50 on which one of the two will actually come out on top. I'm leaning more, though, on the Vikings taking charge slightly in this game. Now, in conclusion, I have this game going in favor of the Minnesota Vikings, 17-12. I think that the Vikings are going to score 2 touchdowns and 1 field goal, while the Falcons score 2 field goals and a touchdown, but the touchdown has a blocked extra point, and the Vikings win on a game-sealing, not game-winning touchdown. Maybe a touchdown pass to, I think, Jefferson or Thielen, maybe even TJ Hawkinson, or heck, maybe they'll even have a rushing touchdown from JJ McCarthy. Who knows? But I think it's going to be a game-winning touchdown pass run, doesn't matter, for the Vikings. And I think the Vikings will do a decent job. So will the Falcons. But the Vikings will definitely come out on top. Now, that was it for this video. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Who do you think is going to win? The Falcons or the Vikings? Do you think McCarthy will win another game over Penix? Or will Penix get his revenge from that national title game? Tell me down in the comments below. Now, like this video if you liked it. Subscribe and hit the notification if you want more videos. And I'll see you guys next time.